We're going to make this super easy but very delicious pork and sauerkraut. Okay, that's all ingredients we need. We have the sauerkraut. I like to use the red cabbage, and this red cabbage is really from Germany. Then I always put apple, onion, and butter, and light brown sugar in my pork sauerkraut. So it gives some kind of sweet taste in the pork and sauerkraut. And I get like 8 pounds of pork butt, cut it to big chunks, so it's easier for me to cook. I have the chopped up onion and chopped up my apple and cut my butter to pieces. Now I just need to boil the blood of my pork. Okay, it looks like it's ready. So I put the butter in my cast iron pot here. I like use cast iron pot to cook my meal. Okay, now I'm going to brown my pork for a while. Yeah, you need to kind of brown it with the butter so it's giving a nice flavor of your pork. Okay. So the pork is browning in my pot there. Okay. So there are lots of pork in there. Just keep browning that. Now I put onion and chopped up apples in the pork too. Okay. It's in there now. I just need to stir around a little bit. Okay. Alright. Yeah, it's really, my arm is really tiring just by stir those pork around. Now I just put the sauerkraut in now. This whole can of sauerkraut is really packing in there. I got this pork and sauerkraut in all the grocery store. Their pork sauerkraut is their sauerkraut is actually really good. I always buy my sauerkraut there. It's supposed to be imported from Germany, you know. It's always good from the original place. Now I put my red cabbage with apple, the whole can in there too. I put 2 cans in there. This red cabbage is not sour. It's kind of sweet with apple flavor. So it mix up that super sour sauerkraut flavor. So your sauerkraut tastes kind of sweet and sour. That's how I like my pork and sauerkraut. I don't like the super sour and salty sauerkraut at all. Now I just put some brown sugar in there. Yeah, you always have to put some brown sugar in there. Unless you really like super salty and sour flavor, you don't have to put any sugar in your pork sauerkraut. But that's how I like mine, so I always put them in there. Okay, looks like how many cans I put in there? 2 cans of red cabbage, I think. Okay, there are lots of cabbage. Oh, look at that color. It looks pretty, isn't it? Nice and red. And this pot I use is 6 quart. So it's pretty big and it's almost filled up by the pork and the kraut in there. Okay, looks like it's ready to put the cover back on, and we're just going to wait for probably like almost 2 hours to get this thing cooked. Alright, lid back on. Let's wait. Okay, looks like my pork sauerkraut is done. Look at it. The pork just right for out 2 pieces. It's really good. It's really nice and tender and juicy. Now it's the time for you to turn it off. Okay, I'm gonna try that today by myself. So instead of my kids trying that, so I'm gonna try it. See how the taste comes out. Of course, give the bite of the pork.
I wanna watch the rest of this.
The pork is just right, tender, fall right apart. As soon as it fall right apart, you don't want to cook too long. It will dry out. So this point is the best. It's so good, what I can say. And I think the butt roast or even shoulder roast
It's the best to cook sauerkraut. I tried use pork loin before because of the meat is too lean. It doesn't taste that good. It tastes so dry. And to be honest, this is the first time I put 1 can of the real sauerkraut and 1 can of that red cabbage with apple one. Comes out really delicious. Instead of super sour like before, with the apple and the brown sugar in there, it has this sour but a little bit sweet taste in there, and it tastes so good. Everything's perfect. I think this is a great way to make your sauerkraut with pork in a Dutch oven. Only take 1 hour and 20 or 1 hour and 30 minutes, depends on how big you cut your pork. And comes out great. You don't take too much time to cook it. And perfect with your potatoes. I'm going to drink some apple cider with that too.